Hey guys, welcome back to the Kool-Aid Podcast. Welcome back to episode 47. On today's episode, we're going to be giving a roundup of match day six. We had a couple of very interesting games, and we already have our first nation eliminated from the World Cup. Qatar is the first nation to be eliminated from this World Cup. We're going to mention the big game, USA versus England. We're also going to be touching upon Netherlands and Ecuador, and we're going to be talking about the convincing win from Iran over Wales. Let me introduce my co-host Alex.
Hey guys, how's it going? Good to be back.
All right, guys. Remember that I post a link on Twitter. If any of you guys want to join, you're always welcome to. Um, that way, you can join our discussion and you can basically give your thoughts. But First game of the day, it was Iran versus Wales. Now, Iran won that 2-0. Overall, I thought that game, I thought Iran were by far like the better side. When you look at the chances that they had some very clear cut chances and they weren't taking advantage of it. And I was looking, it was going to go into a draw, but it took something special from the Iranian team. I forgot the player, but well, actually, let me bring it up. The player, it was Chesney, Chesney. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but he managed to release a screamer from about 20-25 meters out, and it went bottom corner. And that basically just like it's going to be very hard for Wales to go through now. But Alex, what were your thoughts on that game?
Yeah, it was definitely an interesting game. Like I said, well, like you said, it was a pretty close game, very defensive minded, especially coming from Wales. Um, Unfortunately, given the group stage that they're in, given the group that they're facing, they're not gonna be the ones holding the ball. They're not gonna be the ones creating a lot of chances. So they were mainly sitting back and defending. I thought the Iranian team dominated, and I expected this from them. They have, in my opinion, the better players, and more than that, I think better coaching and better chemistry. Maybe that's the right word we can use here. But overall, fair play to the Iranian team. They played a great game against Wales. Um, I was just surprised they didn't score earlier. And yeah, I think the 2-0 summed up the performance pretty well. Nothing extraordinary, but a good performance all around. And like you said, Wales are in a very tough spot. Now, do I see them going through? Not really. Any team that they face now, I mean, they're going to face England. That's
Yeah, exactly. They have to
enough said
face
on that.
England. They have to face England. They have to beat England, and I believe they have to hope that either
I think Iran and the US will have to tie, or Iran will
yeah,
have to lose, I think.
uh, something like that.
Yeah.
No, for the U.S. to win, I believe, because they
Mm,
lost to Iran, so they
right.
can't be. Um,
Well, yeah, it was. I thought it was a decent game. Nothing crazy there. They're pretty evenly matched teams, I would say. Nothing out of the ordinary, of course. Now, a game that I thought was a really good one actually was the Senegal and
the what
yeah,
was
the,
it?
the Senegal and Qatar game.
Yo, yeah, the Senegal and Qatar game. Yep.
Yeah, I know it's out of order. I believe Ecuador and the Netherlands happened before.
No, it happened after.
It happened after, right? So yeah, the Senegal and Qatar game was a good one actually. I thought the Senegalese team dominated as they were expected to, but at a different time, I would say that Qatar played a very interesting role in this game. They created some chances that they didn't execute properly, and I thought for a while I was watching the game, I thought they were going to tie. I thought it was going to be a tie game, but of course, Senegal showed their class and their superiority with their players, and it was a fun game to watch. To be honest, some good goals I saw, and again, I thought the Senegal defense did not have a good performance. Mendy saved him a couple times.
Yeah,
Those
yeah.
calls, and
Qatar had a couple
there was that
clear
header that he
chances.
stopped.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. If that went in, Qatar, I believe they would have been in the lead, correct? Or like tied the game 1-1.
Yes, I believe that was the case. I don't remember in what order it came, but again, I thought that Senegal were decent today. That they were good. You know, the only reason I can't say they were great was because they gave up a lot of chances, and considering the competition, they should have done much better. But again, good win for them. Good 3 points that they can take after their defeat against the Netherlands, which again that was another close game when they first played. But yeah, it was interesting to see how both teams matched up, and fair play to the Qatar team. I think everyone saw this coming, them exiting in the group stage.
Yeah.
Um, but fair play to them. It's been a cool World Cup, I guess we could say. With a lot of cool stadiums and whatnot. Some controversy, but it was nice seeing them there. And yeah, I think this would be an interesting group to see how it develops in the last game because the Netherlands tied and won. Senegal has lost and won. Um, yeah, and Ecuador has Ecuador has won and tied as well. That
No,
they've
no,
been so
exactly.
good, and that's the game I want to talk about next. What a performance from the Ecuadorian team! Now this
Yeah.
is a true underdog story because I think we've mentioned Netherlands is not an offensively minded team. They lack in the offense department.
Yeah.
They have beautiful defense. Virgil van Dijk, Matthijs de Ligt, De Vrij, Dumfries. They have blind as well. They have a very deep defense, and it helps them. They don't concede a lot. Although Valencia's Valencia, he's been on fire this World Cup. And what else can I say? I thought the Dutch team are seriously needing strong performances from Bergwijn or Memphis Depay.
Or even Gapo, who managed to
Well,
score.
yeah, Gakpo was good too, but he's
Yeah.
young. You can't really put
No,
all that pressure
of
on them.
course, of course, of course.
But no,
No.
again, and if you look at his numbers in the Eredivisie, he's also been very solid this season.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, I think the Dutch team, and I also see some problems in the midfield. Even although De Jong is there, he can't do everything by himself. I thought he was decent today. Not a crazy game from him, but it wasn't a bad performance either. Um, but I don't know, man. This Netherlands team does not give me any confidence in the round of 16 or onward. They would have to. Their defense would have to be on point every single game, and that's almost impossible because we see inconsistencies from Virgil van Dijk and the other players we mentioned, but especially Virgil because he's considered the best center back there, and we see moments of weakness from him this season in Liverpool, but also here. And
Hmm.
it's just tough to see how the Dutch team is playing. I thought you can't ask more from that Ecuador team. It's beautiful
Well,
the way they're playing right now.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Like I would also give props to Ecuador just because they were playing such a great game.
No. They've been on another level. I think, in my
Yeah.
opinion, given the odds, I think they've been the best performing team so far in the
Ooh.
World Cup.
And not Spain.
Well, the thing is, Spain is a team that comes with a long history of good coaching, good players. They have a
Oh, wait,
great team.
wait. Okay, so like you mean like the best, like overachieving, like the team that's been the most
Right,
well.
right. No, I mean,
It's,
listen,
it's
we've
still
only
early. It's still early
yeah,
because
hey, bro,
they
it's still
keep
very
pretty much
early.
like.
It's only the
Mhm.
second match day. And I know for the World Cup is different because everything's more accelerated. But if you look at the performance that Spain put up, it was otherworldly. But again, it was against a weak side like Costa Rica, and
Yeah.
we're seeing true underdogs here. Ecuador putting up this performance is nothing short of extraordinary. I mean,
Uh-huh.
I
And
thought they were
Asia.
going to beat the Netherlands. I thought they were going to
Mhm.
beat them today. I was watching it with my cousin. I told him, hey, they're going to lose, but the Netherlands held their own, and they also made Ecuador tremble a
No,
few
no,
times.
no, no, no. Yeah, like Ecuador has some really good chances, and they've been playing really well. And we mentioned this how good Ecuador were playing in the qualifying for the World Cup,
For sure,
and
no.
how they
And
basically.
this was something I was speaking with my friends when I first saw Ecuador qualify for the World Cup. It's a very stubborn team. This is a team that you can't just get through, right? Because everyone is so athletic, everyone's so physical, they're quick on the ball. Yes, they make a lot of. I think that the thing that kills them, they make a lot of mistakes in the transitions and going forward. I feel like they give the ball too easily, but their dogs getting it back.
Yeah, exactly.
I haven't seen a team
Defensively.
very few teams, very few players play such an aggressive game to get the ball back. So um, it's just it's just phenomenal to see them playing like this. And
Mm-hmm.
what else can we say? It's Ecuador. No one, I don't think anyone expected them to be playing the way they're playing right now.
Yeah, I actually have them as one of the teams to be a surprise in this tournament, just
Hmm.
because though I've seen the way that they played against the big boys in South America, Argentina, Brazil, and I'm really excited to see what they do next. But from the last game that we want to touch upon is the England USA game. Oh, look at this guy!
What's up,
What's
guys?
up?
We have a late visitor on the stream.
Yeah, we have a late visitor. Right now we're gonna be talking about the England
Yeah,
USA
yeah.
game.
I heard about Ecuador's game, right?
Yeah,
Hey, that everybody stepped on Ecuador, and look at that. I mean,
I know, I
I
know,
I,
I know.
I was predicting probably 2-1 by Netherlands. Ecuador showed up, man. We can say there's like their golden generation. They're young. They
No,
got
no, no, no. But that's the thing. They're all young. They're all young.
that's
So
what
like
I'm
you would
saying.
expect in like 4 years for them to like start hitting their stride.
Mm,
So
for
that's why it's
sure.
And
really
I mean,
generation.
Senegal. I mean, obviously they beat Qatar, but I don't see them beating Ecuador. So
That'll be I think
that
that's a very
that
even
will be a
match.
very good match because whoever wins that is making it to the next round. So
Yeah,
True.
exactly. Well, yeah, who knows? Qatar could make an upset, maybe tie against Netherlands or even beat them,
who knows?
but highly
I
unlikely
mean, they
because
got nothing to lose. They can win that game.
exactly they have nothing to lose. And on top of that, they've only scored one goal. Like with the game that they just played against Senegal, that was the only goal that they scored in the World Cup. That was the first goal.
It was a pretty decent goal too.
Yeah, yeah, it was a very good goal. But guys, well, what do you make of the USA game?
Wow. First of all, I would like to say the U.S. played insane today.
Uh huh.
I saw amazing performances from Tyler Adams. Weston McKinney had a great game, I think, as well.
Weston McKinney controlled that midfield very well, and he
Mm,
was able to make it a more vertical game for the U.S. I mean, they took him out towards the end of the game to try and find a change of pace and energy, and obviously because they're tracking his man because of his injury, but he played a great game, and in general, they played a terrific game as a whole. I mean, obviously, we would like to have seen a little more maybe aggressiveness from both sides towards the goal, but I mean that that's that wasn't the case because of how well the defense played. So, I mean, people can call it boring because it was 0-0. It was a great game, and this sets up USA that the ball's on their core, and all you gotta do is beat Iran. And it's easier said than done, but they can very well do it. So
And the Rand side that just won and like are full of confidence, knowing that if they beat the USA or at least get a point, like no, if they beat the USA, they're through.
but I
No,
think if
no,
they
no,
tie,
no. Yeah, even if they tie, they go through.
yeah. And look, listen, the U.S.'s back is against the wall right now, and I think they will go into that game with full force. The U.S. have the quality. They have so many good young players, but they definitely have the quality to put two past Iran and win it. Now, if wow, England was nothing but disappointing today. And this goes to show a lot of things wrong with the team, mainly the coaching. I don't know what Gareth Southgate's plan is. You're playing against the US. Yes, they have a promising team, but they're a team you are going to dominate with the players you
Mhm.
have. With the quality you have to dominate. You can't sit back. And we saw this for such a long time in the game, just back passing between the two center backs and the CDM. No
and
mission
also
to go forward.
Mason Mount played all 90 minutes, right?
I don't know, but the player that I
So
do know that.
what are the cases?
No, it's terrible.
If you sub in Henderson to look for leadership and maybe a change of pace in the midfield, Foden, in my opinion,
I don't know
is
why he's not
much
playing.
better than Mount.
Yeah,
Why don't you
yeah.
sub in Foden, who has energy for days and can electrify the team? You sub in Grealish over Foden.
I know, and this is the thing. I think I'm seeing some favoritism among Southgate's team because, yes, I understand Mount is a promising young player, but he hasn't been like that for this season or the past one, in my opinion. You have to put in Foden. Foden is so full of energy, so full of creativity. You have to put a player like that in the midfield. We saw today how far players like Harry Kane had to drop just to get the ball up.
Yeah.
You know, we saw him
Nah,
completely playing out of position. He was playing like a midfielder today.
No
and
one was breaking through the lines.
you don't have, if you don't have Kane up there. So I mean, sure, Saka and Sterling can score goals, but he's so fundamental to that attack, and he's dropping in. He's not getting any chances. The offense isn't feeding. And look, I think players like Luke Shaw played well today, surprisingly. Sterling had a good game. I think Saka was very quiet, but Southgate's got to be more creative with his team, man. He's got. I think he's too scared to make changes. But this is a group stage where you can. If
Mhm.
you had Germany, Spain, or like France in this group stage, okay, that's different. But you have the U.S., England, and Wales. It's a very, I mean, you have the U.S., Iran, and Wales. It's a very favorable group stage. You can afford to do this, and I don't know. It's very frustrating to see a team so talented play like this. And all I can say is, if this is the England we're gonna see past the group stage, they're not getting far.
And
Yeah,
another detail that maybe some people didn't really think about much, they might have to switch it up with the right back because Trippier has not played bad, but if you're seeing the because Trippier his passing is beautiful, it's impeccable, but we didn't see enough of it. And maybe it's because
Yeah.
maybe the US was playing what knew what the task was. Maybe maybe they realized that they shouldn't be playing him all 90 minutes. Maybe they gotta switch it up at right back. There's positions that we don't really think about that are very impactful.
Yeah, and that's also a point worth mentioning because England are notorious for having 15, 16, 20 right backs that they can pick from. Well, that's an exaggeration.
yeah.
They realistically have like 4 or 5 right backs they can use. And listen, you don't want to use Alexander Arnold because he's a liability on defense. I'm fine with that. Now, Reece James was your number one, and he's injured. Kyle
Yeah,
Walker,
it's a big blow for England.
Kyle Walker is injured.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think as the moment Walker can play, put him right back, put Trippier left back, and that's the best way you can set up your defense.
And
No,
dropping.
Maguire Stones were solid. I can't even complain.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, they're not the best, but they've been solid. And Maguire was solid today, all around.
yeah. Maguire for England is really solid. He's like a completely different
I think
player.
Maguire is a very solid player. I just think United is a bad team with bad coaching, and
No, no. On top of that, it's such a toxic environment that as soon as you know
I
him,
think
you get
United are one of the
confident.
most toxic clubs right now. We don't see a lot of it, and it's been said before by coaches like Mourinho, by ex players like Pogba.
Yeah,
They've
yeah,
said it
yeah,
too.
yeah.
Listen, I don't see a lot of hope for England. They would have to change things radically. They're gonna get through. Obviously, it is what it is, but
The thing is
they have
that
to shape up. And yeah,
England's depth is unlike any other team.
it's phenomenal.
People call France and Germany deep. England is deep. That's what you look at depth.
Every single one of these countries
They
are
are
such a deep
so
squad.
incredibly deep, and Southgate
Uh-huh.
is choosing to stick with the same guys every single day. Buddy, if it didn't work against USA, even
Yeah,
that work against Wales, it's not gonna work in the round 16. And as the deeper it gets, the more solutions you're gonna have to find. He has to play people. His third tier starting team, his starting 11, could start in any other major club. If you think
You're
about it,
right. Yeah, 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 yeah.
I'm exaggerating, but he has depth for days. He needs to exploit
mm,
it.
for
Do
sure.
you, do you guys think that that England got away with it? Because when you look at the
Yeah.
chances the USA
No,
had,
no, most
I
they
definitely.
hit the
mean,
Most
crossbar.
definitely. They got away
Yeah,
with it so close.
that first half was pretty. It was like the US had their chances, but it was pretty. It was pretty level. The first 20 something minutes of the second half was all USA.
I'm surprised.
yeah,
Oh, and that Pulisic strike was wow.
They were living in England's box.
Listen, I tend to favor England when it's against teams that I'm not too fond of or I don't really care too much about. But it was the U.S. today, so I was really. I knew it's mainly because there's a lot of players I like there, like Harry Kane. But
yeah.
a team like USA, I wanted to see both do good. The U.S. deserved to win today. I can say that without a doubt. England had no ambition, no desire to win, and that shows that's a main issue we see. But with the coaching, Southgate is not the right man for the job if they want to win the World Cup or any other major trophy.
And one last detail from this game: their left back, left back Robinson. That guy's nice.
Yeah, he
That
had a
guy
good
is.
game.
I had never heard
Yeah.
of him. And sorry for being ignorant. I had no idea who he was. He might get some attention after this World Cup. He
For
played
sure.
nice, not only on the back, but moving the ball up the field. He played really, really nice.
Hmm. Oh well, yeah, well, yeah. It was a good US performance. They played better than England in most parts of the game, and I agree. England got away with it. USA could have scored and easy gone up. But before we head out, on looking on Group B and Group A, Who who do you think is going to be advancing
Well, I would have to say, hmm,
on Group A? Let's start with Group A.
right now for Group A is easily going to be Netherlands and Ecuador. I don't see
Okay,
Senegal going through. I don't see Senegal going through.
okay. So the last
I
game is
really
going to be
don't.
Senegal versus Ecuador. Do you believe
Ecuador's
that
winning that
Ecuador's winning that?
at most of their time, but
Remember that if Ecuador ties, they advance because
Um,
Ecuador has a win and a draw. Senegal has a win and a loss.
yeah, well, yeah. If they draw, Ecuador go
But
through. So
if Ecuador
Senegal has
draws,
to
they
win the last game.
advance. And the
Yeah,
way they're
Senegal has to
playing,
draw.
if they drew against Netherlands, they can very well draw against Senegal. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's
yeah,
gonna
exactly.
be Group A, Netherlands, Ecuador.
I agree.
Group B, England, US.
I
England,
do think
US.
I do think the US going motivating against Iran. I
The,
don't see
the
them.
US is gonna win that,
I
and they'll
don't.
Yeah.
declare war on Iran.
Well, I personally want the US to advance, but the US have to go into that game knowing the danger that Iran poses because
No,
they
of
put
course.
in a very convincing performance against Wales and they had some very good chances and they hit the post multiple times.
The US
Um,
know what they're capable of. They just gotta go
yeah,
there with their back against the wall, and I think that's enough motivation. If I know I gotta win to go through, I'll work better under pressure in that case.
And that team has a great combination of youngsters and vets. They have people like Pulisic,
mhm.
um, Tim,
Gio Reyna.
no, no, those are youngsters. I'm
Oh,
talking
you're talking
about.
about yeah, the
They
bets.
have a decent amount of vets to pair along with the plethora of youngsters they have, and they're all motivated. So, and again, Wales, Iran played good against Wales, but remember that their goals came down to the very last play when everybody was already exhausted. I don't see the US
The US is gonna
having
win.
to go that deep into the game to score.
The US is
I
winning.
don't see it, but we'll see.
The US is winning. Um, but all right, guys, that was it for our reaction to match day 6. We saw a very convincing win from Iran. And the US and the England were held to a draw. As always, I post a link on Twitter if any of you guys want to join. You're always welcome to and give your thoughts. But as always, like, subscribe.